ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धून एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you, dear devotees, for joining in this session. So today is the 5th session of the Bhagavad Gita that we'll be starting on with. So we have the second chapter we are supposed to start with, that is Sri Sanjay Uvach. From here we'll be starting. Sanjay Uvach. So I feel that you all can unmute yourselves and you all can repeat after me, okay? Because we'll be going shloka to shloka and we'll be explaining also wherever there is requirement. Shri Sanjay Uvach.
Shri Sanjay Uvacha
Tam tatha kripayavishtam Purnakulekshanam Vishidantam idam vakyam Uvacha Madhusudana. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna fall full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna spoke the words. So if you will see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has been addressed with many words. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, many words Arjuna will use according to the context. Somewhere he will call Krishna as Govinda, somewhere he'll call Krishna as Rishikesha. So this first chapter and the second chapter. So every time we'll have a connection between chapters. What is the connection between first chapter and second chapter? Why all of a sudden this topic got switched? So the connection between the first chapter and the second chapter here is that Arjuna is presenting his more doubts and reasons for not fighting or to avoid fighting. And then Arjuna is, very much perplexed or confused that, what is my duty or why should I fight? So then now in the second chapter, his relation with Krishna will change from a friend to a guru and disciple relationship. So Arjuna is presenting his more doubt. So at least from the first shloka to the 10th shloka, he's expressing or he's giving his further doubts. And then in shloka number 7, he surrenders to Krishna. So, if I say that from from shloka number 1 to shloka number 10, the practical application for these shlokas would be that when one realizes that there is no shelter in this material world, because many times we think that my mind and my intelligence also will be my shelter, but many times the mind also does not cooperate with you, the intelligence also does not cooperate with you, and somewhere we land up taking wrong decisions. Then at that particular time, or at that time, then when we take full shelter of the spiritual authority, either it be Vaishnavas or Guru, then things will we will come out of our perplexities or doubts or anxieties or bewilderment. So in this first shloka, Sanjay is describing that Krishna sees Arjuna lamenting like an ignorant man, and he's responding. So in this first purport, if you see to the first shloka of the second chapter, then there are many signs of ignorance given: compassion, lamentation, and tears. Okay, so शोक है, मोह भी है, भय भी है, दया भी है. All these signs are of ignorance are there. So then in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning about the definition of a Shudra. A Shudra, what he does is that he laments for the gross body, and or one who's lamenting just unnecessary. Sometimes you see small children, they just keep on crying, crying, crying. They don't have, their crying does not have any basis, right? So they're just crying out of ignorance. So a particular person who is lamenting for the gross body, or maybe gross body means your outward dress that is there. So Prabhupada gives an analogy over there that compassion for the dress of a drowning man is completely senseless. So a man who has fallen into this ocean of this material world, or ocean of me science, he cannot be saved by rescuing his gross body. Then he can be saved only by rescuing his subtle body, that is the mind, intelligence, ego, and the soul. These consist of the subtle body. So what is the opposite of ignorance then? The opposite of ignorance is self-realization. So then when you have the compassion for the eternal soul or your subtle body, that is called self-realization. So when we say compassion, then you first need to have compassion for your own self, that you give the soul what it is demanding for. The soul is hankering for Krishna. The soul is not hankering for anything else in this material world. The soul is not hankering for big cars, big bungalows, big diamonds, gold. The soul is not hankering for any riches at all. The soul is simply hankering for Krishna. And that is the food for that soul. Just as you have the food for the body, you have anna, you have greens for the body. It keeps you nourished. Similarly, for the soul, the nourishment is Krishna consciousness. Because the soul is very much attached to Krishna, and the soul has fallen down, that is why it is feeling very much uncomfortable. And in that discomfort state, the soul keeps on lamenting, the soul keeps on being bewildered, because he's not clear at all about his relationship with this material world. He is very clear with his relationship with Krishna. But because he's fallen into an alien land, he's completely bewildered that what I need to do over here. And that is why he keeps on crying, because his eternal soul that is there, it is hankering for Krishna. So when Krishna is addressed even as Madhusudana, Krishna had killed the demon called Madhu, as you all know. And then Krishna is requesting Arjuna to, uh, because Krishna killed the demon Madhu, so Arjuna is expecting or requesting Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that has overtaken him to discharge his duty as a Kshatriya. So sometimes even when we want to, we want to actually discharge our duties as a mother, as a father, as a doctor, as an engineer, but sometimes we are very much perplexed. Sometimes we are even in duality. What should I do? Should I go? Should I not go? Should I, say this? Should I not say this? So then when doubts are, overtaking us, then immediately what we should do is we should consult the authority, the spiritual authority, whoever is your authority. That way. So Prabhupada is also giving in the purport that why this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken to dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man. Everybody on this earth planet is ignorant of their relationship with the Supreme Lord. Now, to revive that and to remove the masses or the living entities from this lamentation, then Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. So, this whole second chapter that we have, what is the role of this second chapter in the Bhagavad Gita? So, the role of the first chapter was it was presenting the problem. Okay, this is the problem of Arjuna. So, if we know the problem, then the solution can be given. But if you do not know the problem, then how is it possible that we give a solution to the problem, right? You go to the doctor and you tell doctor, this is my problem. The doctor immediately will diagnose, and then he will give you the right medicine to cure your disease. So this role of second chapter in self-realization is that it is teaching Gyan, it is teaching Buddhi Yoga also. So Gyan means what? It is an analytical study of this material body and the spirit soul. By, we can say, the Supreme Lord himself, and who is the topmost spiritual authority. So, and Buddhi Yoga, it is teaching you the what activities we need to do. That is the path of your activity. So first, Gyan is actually teaching us what is material body and what is the spirit soul. And then Buddhi Yoga will teach that, okay, this is the material body, this is the spiritual body. Now, what are the activities we need to do with this material body? So that is the path of activity. That is the path of self-realization, which is Gyan is, Buddhi Yoga is including to work without attachment to fruitive results, and it is helping us to get fixed into our real self. So when a particular person has intelligence, when he gets that knowledge, his intelligence is sharpened, then he'll move on the path of self-realization. So if we see that previously, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were ignorant about our own self. But then the moment we came to know that, okay, I'm not this body, I am the spirit soul. That is the gyan that we got. And then when you get that gyan, then you're moving on to the, with knowledge, then you are sharpening your intelligence also, Buddhi Yoga. Now the Buddhi, the intelligence will tell, okay, go on this particular path. Okay, the Buddhi will tell, okay, then work, but work selflessly. You don't have to be attached to the results. Say, for example, a particular person is working for the whole month, and he does not get his pay package at all. That is the fruit of his pay package that he gets, right? The whole month that he has worked. And then the boss gives him, say 10,000 or 20,000. So that is the result But over here, Krishna is saying that you work, but you work without any attachment. You work without any fruitive results, because if you expect any results, then you will be binded into that work. That work will only bind you. So work without any attachment. So uh, this is the explanation for shloka number 1. Let's go to shloka number 2. Now Shri Krishna starts speaking. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So everybody will go in one, go. It's not like that one is, got up from the sleep and in the last minute is saying, okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri
Bhagavan
Uvacha
Swakashmalam medam.
Tasvatmalam
Utasmakashmalamidam
Vishame samupastitam.
Vishame Samupasthitam
Yajashtam asvargyam.
Anajashtam Asvargyam
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. So he's saying that Utasvatva kashmalam idam. So where from these impurities have come to you? And at what time Vishame samupasthitam? At this hour of crisis, when you just have to start fighting, these impurities have come upon you. And this impurities or this particular act is not at all befitting. Anarya justam asvargyam. So he's saying that an Arya. So Arya is a person who knows the value of life, but an un-Arya person is a person who does not know the value of life. Srila Prabhupada is going to explain about this particular word in great details. And then he's saying that this is going to take you to where? Not Swargyam. It is not going to lead you to higher planets. Swargyam means higher planets. Aswargyam means not higher planets. Okay. So when you'll actually speak these shlokas, you'll immediately mute yourself. Okay. Immediately that your hand should go on mute. And then what will this lead to? What will this act lead to? Akirti, infamy. Karam Arjuna. So this will be the cause of your infamy. This particular act will be the cause of your infamy. So this is what Krishna is chastising Arjuna. So Krishna's response, seeing Arjuna, is that he is condemning him. Hey, you're non-Aryan. If you see the next shloka also, there also he is actually just chastising Arjuna. Let's see the next shloka and maybe we can take both the shlokas together. Kaibalyam masmagam gama partha.
Kaibalyam
Kaibalyam
Matmagam Partha
Mansmagama Partha
Kaibalyam masmagama partha.
Kaibalyam
Kaibalyam Partha
Netat-tattva upadyate.
Netattatva Upadyate
Udram hridaya daurbalyam.
Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam
Yaktotishta parantapa.
Tyaktotishta Tapa.
Yeah, thank you. So he's also saying that, O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of enemy. So over here, what he's saying that Kebalyam ma sma gama partha. So, this is not, so he's saying that whereupon, in the second shloka, is saying that whereupon these impurities have come upon you. So, what is the result? This is not going to yield you, not yield to this discrediting importance. So, he's saying that this is going to defame you more and more. Netat tvai upapadyate. He's saying that this is not befitting a person like you. And Shudram Hridaya Dorbalyam. Shudram means, petty. And Hridaya. So this is the weakness of your heart. Hridaya Dorbalyam. Dorbalyam means weakness. Okay. And then he's saying that Tyaktva Tishta Parantapaha. So then he's telling, give up this weakness of heart, petty weakness of heart, and get up and fight, O chastiser, Param Tapa, chastiser of enemies. So Krishna is encouraging him. Krishna thought that, okay, let me encourage him, to fight. Let's give him some words. So Krishna is using, Anarya words, Kashmalam, Kaibalyam, Hriday Dorbalyam. All these words he is using to condemn Arjuna's this particular act. So, if you see in these two shlokas, there are very finer sentiments like compassion, nobility, and lamentation. These are all worthless. If all these are applied in a very ignorant way, like for example, compassion. Compassion, if you apply for the dress of a drowning man, right? You tell them that, okay, I will, save his coat, but you don't save that man who's drowning, then what is the use? He died. False compassion nahi hona chahiye, true compassion hona chahiye. So false compassion is you just outwardly try to feed him some food, give him some dress, but the real compassion will be get him to Krishna consciousness, get him to chant, get him to read the Bhagavad Gita, then that is the true compassion for that particular soul. So many people, they say that, we should open. So philanthropists, what they do is they're opening big, big hospitals. They will, distribute blankets. They will distribute some, other items also. Like in north side, if you give people a very much this for feeding or giving blankets in the winter season or giving umbrellas in the summer season. But then this is compassion for the outer body or the gross body. Then what is ISKCON doing then? ISKCON is actually taking care of both. It is taking care of the gross body also and the subtle body also. It is taking care of the outer dress also and the inner soul also. By educating people with the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, the chanting of the holy names, and outward it is feeding also. It is feeding almost in every temple. If you see 10 miles away from ISKCON temple, nobody will go hungry. So it is feeding in that way also, or it is taking care of the outward body dress also in that way. So that is the true compassion for the soul. So then if you see, Krishna is over here being called as, when we say Bhagavan Uvacha, so Shri Bhagavan has said, right? So there Prabhupada in the purport is saying that there are three phases of the absolute truth. So there are three phases of the absolute truth. One is the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Prabhupada is very elaborately explaining about what is the Bhagwan feature, what is the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord, what is the Brahman feature of the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada is giving the analogy also about the sun, um, and he's given the analogy very nicely, that the sun rays are compared to the Brahman feature of the Supreme Lord. The sun disk is compared to the Paramatma feature. But behind that sun disk, there is a person standing who is Sun God. So that is the Bhagwan feature of the Supreme Lord. So when you say that the Brahman feature, so there is an effulgence which is emanating from the Supreme Lord. So that is the Bhagwan feature of the Supreme Lord. Then there is the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord, which is localized, which is present in every person, right? And he's present in his own personal abode. So that is the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. And then you have the Bhagwan, the Supreme Person himself, who is Bhagwan with all the six opulences in 100%. And that's where that is the, you can say that that is the Bhagwan feature of the Lord. So the definition of Bhagwan by Parashar Muni, he has six opulences: full wealth, full wealth, full strength, full fame, full knowledge, full renunciation, full beauty. These are the six opulences of the Supreme Lord. And Krishna is supporting, that you should not do this particular act. So there are many other supporting references also for Krishna's supremacy. So if you want to establish that why Krishna is only the supreme personality of Godhead, then Brahma Samhita says that Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadar Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the source of all. He is the cause of all. And then in the Bhagavatam, the source is given Ete Chamsa Kalapamsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. And so these are some of the references. There are many other references where Krishna can be established supreme. And in fact, somebody can just prepare a very nice, you can say, document that giving reasons that why Krishna is only the supreme, and who all are the persons who are saying that Krishna is supreme. There is one lecture about His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. I'll post it on the WhatsApp group. You all can see that who all say that Krishna is supreme. So then Prabhupada is giving in the purport the definition of Arya. Arya means, those who are the civilized class of people and who know what is the value of life. And they have a civilization based on spiritual realization. But non-Aryans are those people who do not know the aim of life. The aim of life is Vishnu or Krishna, and they do not know what is what is liberation from material bondage. Currently, every living entity is binded into this material bondage. So the Aryans' conception of life is that they lead by this material conception. And sorry, the non-Aryans, they have this, they are led by, this material conception of life. But the non-Aryans again are captivated by external features also of this material world. They are too much, बोलते ना कि हिंदी में तो चकाचौंध की ये दुनिया है, they are too much captivated by these external features. So Krishna is even presenting the example of a non-Aryan act. Arjuna, although he's a Kshatriya and he's deviating from his prescribed duty, and he's saying that no, I decline to fight. I do not want to fight at all. So he's saying that, oh, this is a non-Aryan act you are doing. So what is the result of that non-Aryan act? Then Krishna is saying that it will lead to, infamy. There'll be no, you will not reach the higher aswaryam. You will not reach to higher planets. There will be no spiritual progress also. That is the result of an non-Aryan act. So Krishna is using the word, kashmalam. Kashmalam means impurities. Whereupon these kutaswa kashmalam midam, from whereupon these impurities have come upon you. So Krishna is expressing his surprise. Kutha, where from? Then, and when the Supreme Lord is present and in front of him, so when the Lord is present with you, then you have a lot of clarity in your life, right? You have a lot of, you have such a clear mind that you're not confused. But over here, Arjuna is confused about his duty, and he's lamenting. But this lamentation was unexpected from from Arjuna. And that's why Krishna is saying that, oh, this is lamentation, this is unexpected. And Krishna is also expressing his, surprise that Arjuna, he's born in an Aryan family. He's born in a civilized class of men. Then he's not supposed to lament, in ignorance. So, Krishna is again saying that, oh, this is kaibalyam, this act is important. Why did Krishna say this? There is also meaning. When Krishna uses word, he uses very properly these words, and very cautiously he used those words. He says that you are the son of a Kshatriya, and the Kshatriyas are supposed to fight. They're not supposed to avoid fight. And that is why he's acting as an unworthy son of Pandu. So Arjuna was very much intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him, on the chariot. So he was not expected to withdraw, fighting or decline fighting from the battlefield. So Krishna is expressing his surprise all of a sudden, because sometimes you say that, if you have two friends, and you all say, okay, we'll go to the temple today, and then one friend, expresses that, oh no, I'm not coming today, my mother has scolded me a lot. So the other friend will be surprised. Hey, what's the connection between your mother scolding you and going to the temple? There's no connection. She has just scolded you, and that is a temporary phase. But your first duty is to go to the temple and attend the class, right? So similarly, this friend Krishna is also expressing surprise that, just she has scolded you. Okay, just, why are you, um, declining to fight? Why are you declining to come to the temple? So sometimes there is some chastisement between friends also. So this is what Krishna is expressing over here. So Krishna is saying that hridaya daurbalyam also, weakness of the heart. So actually, when Krishna is actually using these words, uh, you know, uh, Krishna wants to tell Arjuna that why are you showing some false magnanimity to Bhishma, Drona, which Arjuna is using for his justification to avoid the battle. So he's saying, don't show false magnanimity. They don't deserve that false magnanimity. And Krishna is calling Arjuna as Partha. So Krishna is trying to say Arjuna that why he is using that word Partha, because Pritha is Arjuna's mother's name. So from Pritha, then it's like Partha. So he is born of Kshatriya parents, and Krishna has a blood relationship also with Arjuna. So this does not befit you. You are my friend. So that's what Krishna is trying to say. Let's see the next shloka, what Krishna says now, Arjuna, because there is a series of conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. So you see, such false magnanimity was not approved by the authority. Therefore, such magnanimity or non-violence should be given a person like Arjuna under the direct guidance of Krishna. Magnanimity यानी हिंदी में उसको बोलते उदारता. Now Arjuna is saying that. Arjuna vacha. कथम भीष्मम् अहम संख्ये
हम संख्ये
द्रोण च मधुसूदन
द्रोणं च मधुसूदन
इषुभिः प्रतियोत्स्यामि
ईशुभिर्नमि
पूजार्हा वीरसूदन. So this is Pujarha Arisudana. So very wonderfully, Arjuna is saying that Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhye. So how will I fight with Bhishma? How will I fight with Drona? Oh Madhusudana. Why? Because they are so powerful. They are my teachers. Then Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami. Ishubhi with arrows. How shall I, fight with them? How shall I counteract them? Pratiyotsyami. And who are these people? These people are my worshipable people. Bhishma is worshipable to me. My own teacher Drona is worshipable to me. So he's giving his arguments for not to fight. Arjuna said, "O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in the battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship?" So Krishna is giving that argument. Arjuna is giving that argument. He'll keep on giving arguments, but Krishna is going to dissipate his, nescience after the seventh shloka. So again, Arjuna is counter arguing with Krishna. He's trying to prove his, strong-heartedness, by saying that because Krishna has told that Kutaswa Kashmalamidam, from where of these, weakness of heart has, arisen. So Arjuna is trying to prove his strong-heartedness, that no, I am strong. And he's saying that these are worthy of my worship. So there are some arguments in Arjuna's mind while he's speaking these verses. So he's saying that all these superiors who are there on this battlefield, they are worshipable, they are always respectable, and I should not give a fight back to them even if they attack to me. So he's saying that all these respectable superiors should never be fought back. Why? Because they are my worshipable, people. I worship them. So Srila Prabhupada, in the purport is saying that the superiors are not offered any verbal fight, even if sometimes they are harsh in behavior. So you see in your own houses, sometimes parents chastise us, teachers chastise us, or some grandmother, grandfather chastise us, that we should not counter argue with them. We should just accept it as it is. So in a gross way, what happens is when you keep on counter arguing, then what happens is that that verbal fight becomes a physical fight also. So that should be avoided. And over here, Arjuna is in a mood of challenging Krishna. Then, challenging Krishna means, he is asking that would Krishna counterattack his own grandfather Ugrasen, or will Krishna counterattack his own teacher Sandipani Muni in such a situation? So sometimes we also, give a counter arguments, right? We also say, that क्या आप अपने टीचर के साथ ऐसे बात करोगे? आप मेरे साथ ऐसे बात कर रहे हो? अपने टीचर के साथ ऐसे बात करोगे? You give, right? You give examples. Oh, अपने बाप के साथ भी ऐसी बातें करते हो क्या? मेरे साथ ऐसे बातें कर रहे हो? So for example, somewhere on the road, somebody has met somebody, and a particular person who is maybe just 16, 17, 18, and he has met with an accident, or he must have slashed some old person. तो बोलते हैं कि माँ बाप ने संस्कार नहीं दिए क्या, बड़ों के साथ ऐसे बात करते हो, you talk to elders like this. So then Krishna is also, Arjuna is also giving his own counter arguments. So let's see the next shloka. It's a very nice shloka. गुरुन् हत्वा हि महानुभावान्
Gurun hatva hi mahanubavan
श्रेयो भोक्तु भैक्षं इह लोके
Deyo bhaktam loke
भैक्षं इह लोके. Okay. हत्वार्थ कामास्तु गुरुन्निहेव
Artha karmastu gurunaiva
भुञ्जीय भोगान् रुधिराप्राधिधान
Punjya bhojam krudapya.
So see, because Sanskrit is not our very first language, then what happens? It is a little difficult to understand in the beginning or catch words in the beginning. But as in when you will practice and you have the English translation also, like you don't know how to pronounce, for example, Bhaiksham Piha. So you have over here Bhaiksham Apiha. Okay, you have that way. So you can practice that way also. So these Sanskrit words are very good. And since we'll be preachers of the Bhagavad Gita in future, so when we present certain Sanskrit shlokas, then Prabhupada says that it is authorized, your preaching becomes authorized. That, okay, what Krishna said in Sanskrit, you're repeating the same word and then you're giving the meaning also to that. Okay, so that way Prabhupada had expected from his students to study the Bhagavad Gita in this way. So we are also students of Prabhupada only. We are grand disciples of Prabhupada. So this is the desire of our own grandfather. So we can try to, fulfill his desire. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. So, there are many wonderful, lessons in this particular purport, where Arjuna is saying that, okay, I will beg, but I will not, live at the cost of all these great souls. So sometimes what happens, when there is a fight between, brothers in the same family. So one of the brothers, he will say that he will sacrifice. He will say that नहीं चाहिए मुझे ये जायदाद, मैं भिखारी रहूंगा जिंदगी भर, लेकिन ये जितने भी मेरे बड़े भाई है उनको खुशी महसूस करने दे. Let them be very happy. Let these brothers enjoy. I don't want to enjoy the ancestral property. So one of the brothers wants to sacrifice the ancestral property. He says that no, I don't want to enjoy. I have enough. Let my other two brothers who are my elders, let them enjoy. Or maybe the elder brother might sacrifice. No, let my younger brothers, enjoy. Let them, get the ancestral property. So that way, mm, uh, uh, Arjuna is preferring to sacrifice, and not fight. So Prabhupada, in the purport is saying that there are two things in this. One is the Dharma Shastra and one is the Artha Shastra. So Dharma Shastra is actually the religious principles. And Artha Shastra is, the rules and regulations of politics and sociology. So although Artha Shastra is recommending to kill such aggressors. In the future chapters, we'll see who are the 6 aggressors which should be immediately killed. So Arjuna is giving more weightage to Dharma Shastra, the religious principles. And religious principles promote more of forgiveness. Forgive people. Like even in the Bible, they say that, forgiveness, you forgive, the people. I don't remember that line, but Bible also says that you should forgive people. So these scriptural codes, scriptural codes, when they're recommending on killing such teachers and relatives, so Prabhupada is giving in the purport that these teachers, when are they fit to be abandoned? So if the teacher is engaging in some abominable action, okay, if the teacher is, say for example, when we actually studied IDC, right? So which guru is supposed to be abandoned or to be given up? Then when the guru is engaging in some abominable action, or he's trying to womanize, or he's trying to drink wine, or he's trying to launder money, all these places that teacher is supposed, the guru is supposed to be abandoned. Or the teacher has lost his or her sense of discrimination, that what is right or what is wrong. Why? Because when Draupadi was, dragged into that particular court, Bhishma and Drona, instead of taking the side of the Pandavas, they took the side of Duryodhana, because uh, Duryodhana was giving financial assistance to Bhishma and Drona, and they became obliged to Duryodhana. And uh, instead of going by Arthashastra, they kept quiet. They did not retaliate at all. So Arjuna, still on the basis of Dharma Shastra, is telling that no, we should forgive these teachers, because they are very unique type of aggressors. What is the uniqueness of these aggressors? They are, my seniors, they are my relatives, they are my teachers, they are my grandfathers. So Arjuna is telling that no, we should forgive them. So this is what Prabhupada is saying in this fifth shloka purport. Let's see the sixth wala. न चेतद्विदमा करन्नो वर्यो यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नो जयेयु जानेव हत्वा जिजीविषाम ते अवस्थिता प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्रः. Thank you very much. So, translation: nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So Arjuna over here, did not know whether he should fight or he should, not fight. So Arjuna is giving his last argument, that is the fifth argument of indecision. Because why? When you have indecision, when you are confused. Okay, so now Arjuna is confused whether I should fight or whether I should not fight. Whether I should, like for example, somebody becomes indecisive. So, say that, should I go over there or should I not go over there? Should I invest or should I not invest? Should I tell her this or should I not tell her this? So we are not clear. We don't have clarity what we should be doing. So Arjuna is confused and he's indecisive, because he's saying that if I fight, I might win, but still I will not be able to enjoy without my relatives. And I may not emerge victorious in spite of, so much of bloodshed. And there is no enjoyment also guaranteed for me then. But if he does not fight, then he's saying that for me, begging will be the only means for my sustenance. So, and for a Kshatriya, it is so difficult, uh, to not fight, and of course, for a Kshatriya, when he fights, he enjoys the most because he is in the mode of passion. So he's saying that if I do not fight, I will not be able to enjoy also. So it is difficult, and therefore there will be no enjoyment also. So this is Arjuna's, perplexity, that he is confused about his duty. So if you see in chapter, 1, there are 4 arguments, and over here the 5th argument he is giving. So the 4 arguments that Arjuna is presenting are from which shloka? Bindu Mataji, please mute yourself. No, that's Juhi Mataji. Sorry. So, where was I? Yeah. The first 4 arguments, they are there in from shloka number 28 to 43. Okay, so, and then this is the 5th argument that Arjuna is giving in the 6th shloka in the 2nd chapter. So, when we see that from shloka number 4, 5, and 6, Arjuna's condition over here is depicting or illustrating that what is the result of being selfish, or what is the result of having a selfless consciousness. So when we are when we are selfish, then we are frustrated. Then when we are selfish, then we will not be able to reach to sound conclusions. So 2 results will be there when a particular person has selfish consciousness. Firstly, he'll be very frustrated because all the time he's thinking about me and mine only. So he'll be frustrated when he's not thinking about the other person. And because he's selfish, he's thinking only about himself, then he'll always be in perplexity. He will not have clarity in his life, and he'll not be able to even come to sound conclusions. For example, if you see, okay, we have the Prime Minister of India. Okay. So if you see, he has a very selfless attitude at the moment, right? Why? Because he wants to see India growing in leaps and bounds. So what is he? He's very peaceful. In spite of so many, wrong allegations on him, but he's very peaceful and he's still marching forward. जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना कि the dogs keep on barking, but the elephant keeps on walking. He's walking very royally, right? Because he's very clear into his, mind that yes, I want to, take India to the highest level, even better than, USA also. So that is his selflessness, and that is why he's very clear, and he's very crystal clear in whatever actions he's doing, and that is why he's got so much of success. So the why I gave a very, crude example over here is that uh, uh, because even in spirituality also, if you see, when we have a very selfless attitude of giving, where His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu says that, live to give. When you're giving, then you will be happy. You will not be frustrated. The opposite of frustration is happiness. So you will not be frustrated when you have the attitude of giving. And then when you are in the mode of giving, either to the Vaishnavas, either to the non-devotees, or yet to become devotees, or anybody, you will always have sound conclusions, because the Lord sitting in your heart will help you to have that clarity in your life. And in this sixth sloka also, if you see that these all considerations that are given by Arjuna, they are proving that how virtuous is Arjuna. Such virtuous qualities only a great devotee of the Supreme Lord will have. So, what are Arjuna's qualities over here? He's expressing that yes, he's a great devotee of the Lord. He's highly enlightened. He has complete control over his mind and senses. Uh, he has a sign of detachment in the sense that he's saying that I will prefer to live by begging. I'm not attached to the kingdom. I'm not attached to the post position. And he has a very strong faith in his friend Krishna, or his spiritual master Krishna, and his instructions. So all these qualities make Arjuna completely fit for liberation. So he's the apt person for liberation. But Prabhupada is also mentioning that what are the qualifications of liberation. So anybody who wants to get liberated from this particular gross body and reach to his spiritual body eternally, then over here there are three things he requires. First is controlled senses. With that controlled senses, if he takes knowledge, and that knowledge can transform him into a good devotee or devotion. So three things: controlled senses, knowledge, and devotion. So unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance only of elevation to the platform of knowledge. Because when the sun, we'll be learning a lot about how to control the senses in the subsequent chapters, that how to control the sense. So if I do not have control senses, my senses will keep on going haywire, or my senses will keep on troubling me. Even if I'm reading, it will not allow me to read. Even if I want to grasp something, it will not allow you to grasp, because the senses are so turbulent. And without knowledge and devotion, then there is no chance of liberation. See, devotion is a very heavy word. Devotion means unalloyed, selfless devotion to the Supreme Lord. When I have selfless devotion to the Supreme Lord, from there the Supreme Lord knows that, okay, this is selfless service to me. It is not out of selfish, desire that this particular living entity is serving me. So sometimes, when, some living entities or the jivas, they come to the temple, what they have in their mind. They have a list of, demands to the Supreme Lord. Okay, I want this, I want that, I want, this desire to be fulfilled, I want that desire to be fulfilled. So they have their own, desires continuously in their mind. But eventually what happens is that he keeps on coming to Krishna, and those desires also, subside down. Because when he has complete faith, then slowly, he will, or she, the living entity will develop that selfless attitude or selfless service towards the Supreme Lord. But for that, the prime necessity is controlled senses and knowledge. So Prabhupada in the subsequent chapters and shlokas will say that how to control the senses. So we can control the senses by chanting. We can control the senses by associating with the devotees. So now Arjuna is perplexed, but yet he is eager for enlightenment. And Arjuna is reciting the next shloka, which is a very important shloka. This is for your memorization also. So when you all will be giving the shloka test, it's you all will be reciting this shloka. So very nice shloka this is. कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभाव
कार्पण्यदोषोपहत स्वभाव
कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभाव
कार्पण्यदोषोपहत स्वभाव
पृच्छामि त्वं धर्म सम्मूढचेतः
पृच्छामि
पृच्छामि त्वं धर्म सम्मूढचेतः
पृच्छामि
धर्मसम्मूढचेतः
यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निशितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
यश्रेयस्यान्निष्टां
ब्रूहि तन्मे It is यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निशितं
निश्चितं
ब्रूहि
ब्रूहि तन्मे यश्रेयसान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निशितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
यश्रेयसान्निश्चितं
तन्मे शिष्यास्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वं प्रपन्नम्
शिष्यास्ते
तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्
So in Sanskrit, if you see, if this particular, this mark is there, then it is is not mentioned over here, and that is why you see the corresponding, see this apostrophe before the word, which means it is the aham, shishyaste, aham, tadiman tvam prapannam. Okay, once more we'll just recite. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava
कार्पण्यदोषोपहत स्वभावः
पृच्छामि त्वं धर्म सम्मूढचेतः
पृच्छामि
स्वामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः
यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निशितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
तन्मे
शिष्यास्तेऽहं साधिमा त्वं प्रपन्नम्
शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां प्रपन्नम्
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you all the participants. So the meaning over here is, the translation is, now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell for me certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So, this particular shloka, is how it is a very wonderful shloka, that now Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna, where Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharma parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja, aham tam sarva papebhya mokshayishyami masuchaha. He's saying that do not fear, I am there for you. You please surrender unto me. So this is Krishna's demand to the living entities. Krishna is demanding that surrender. And when Arjuna is confused about his duty, when a living entity is completely confused what should be done and what should not be done, then when Arjuna is surrendering over here, Krishna's role as a friend turns into a guru. So initially, if you see how the theme is developing, that Krishna is chastising Arjuna for his misplaced, you can say, compassion, where he's chastising him, anarya kaibalyam kutaswa kashmalamidam. He's chastising him for being non-aryan, impotent, weak-heartedness. And now Arjuna is expressing his need to surrender. So when does a person surrender? When he's confused about his duty and when he's lost all composure because of, miserly weakness. So then he's surrendering. So Arjuna now, is surrendering to Krishna. He's accepting Krishna as his guru. From a friend, that role changes to the guru. So the purpose or the essence of this verse is that when we need to approach a bona fide spiritual master to come out of our material perplexities or confusions, and get that proper guidance to execute the purpose of our life. So what is the purpose of our life? If somebody will ask, what is the purpose of your life? Any answers to that? What is the purpose of life?
To reach the lotus feet of Krishna.
To reach to the lotus feet of Krishna. Arup Manohar Prabhu, I just missed your answer.
Yeah, to get the loving service of Lord, or you can say to get Krishna Prema.
Yeah, to get Krishna Prema, yes. Any more answers to that? Shanti Devi Dasi, you had some answer?
Same answer, Mataji.
Hanji?
Same answer, Krishna Prem.
Krishna Prema. Okay. Any more answers to this? That what is the purpose of our life?
To please Guru and Krishna.
To please Guru and Krishna, yes. Any more answers to that?
Selfless service in the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna.
Selfless service. Absolutely, this is the correct answer. Selfless service to the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. So, when we are in that mood, okay, so only a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything, and he will tell us what is the purpose of our life. So initially when we came, to Krishna consciousness, we did have some selfish attitude that, okay, I'll get some peace. Okay, I will get some, some solace over here, or, because Krishna is, a very famous God, I will also get something, because all this while, from right from our childhood, we've been trained, or the industry, or the Bollywood, Hollywood industry, they have so much projected in it that way, that to go to God means you have to go to ask something to God. And when to go to God? When you are in die-hard situation, and you are very much, saddened, or when you are बहुत दुखी हो, आप बहुत ही दुखी हो, that time you should go to God. Or you should go to the temple only when you are sad. So if you see, now you see, okay, you compare the Muslims, okay? The Muslims, wherever they are, even on a road, they will have their namaz maybe 6 times a day. Or the Christians also, they have this of reading the Bible every day, or going to the church. Okay, nowadays they have this for going to the church only once a week on a Sunday. And the Hindus have this notion that only when I am sad, only when I am in some difficulty, I need to go to the Supreme Lord. I need to go to God. So this thing we have to cut down. No, I need the Supreme Lord every nanosecond. I need the Supreme Lord at every step of my life. And I need him. He is my die-hard जरूरत को क्या बोलते हैं in English? वो मेरी जरूरत है. He's my die-hard need. Yes. There is a difference between a need and a want. What is the difference between a need and a want? Need is means like, for example, my need is water. My need is air. My need is food. So these are the basic necessities that are there, right? So, chahiye hi chahiye, without which I will not exist, right? And a want is actually a desire. It can be anything. It can be luxury also. Okay, I want, 10 dresses. I want 10 saris. I want 10 dhotis. I want 10 cars. These are wants. Okay, but they are not your need. Without a car, you can still do it. You can go into a DTC bus also and you can travel. You can go to the BST bus also and you can travel. You can travel on a cycle also. So car is not a necessity of life as such, like, But when I say Krishna consciousness, then that is the need of a particular soul. You will not be happy without Krishna entering into your life. You will always be perplexed. You will always be in confusion till the time you do not have Guru and Krishna in your life. So that is actually, you can say that that is called need. So a person who has a bona fide spiritual master, he will know everything in life. And that is why one should not remain in material perplexities or confusions or bewilderment or in any anxiety, but he should approach a spiritual master. That is the the importance of having the spiritual master into our lives. So Prabhupada is saying that this material perplexity, is compared to a forest fire. So both happen actually without any desire and without being set by anyone, right? So for forest fire, achanak se ho jati hai. So even this material perplexity, all of a sudden it will, arise without any desire. So who is that man who is in material perplexity? So that person who does not understand the problems of life, he will be, in material perplexity, where Prabhupada in his definition is saying that a perplexed person is a miser person, kripana. He is, karpanya. So from karpanya, kripana. Okay, so Prabhupada is saying that who is this miser person? The definition of a miser person, he's giving that a miser person is a one who does not utilize the most valuable asset of life, or this human form of life, to solve the problems of life. So what are the problems of life? Birth, death, old age and diseases. These are the problems of life. And one who is wasting his time in the material bodily conception by becoming overly affectionate to family, wife, children, dogs, cats, these are the extended family members of a particular person. And then what is the result of this overly, becoming affectionate or being on the material bodily conception? Then he suffers from skin disease, which is referring to, skin disease means is referring to basically attachment to family life, or wife, children, or the other members of the family. So Prabhupada is giving here two aspects of skin disease. What is it? Very important. Now, please listen this carefully. What is the aspect of, skin disease or attachment to family life? Is that particular person is thinking that I can protect my family from death, and thinks that the family can also save me from death. These are the two skin diseases. Can I save somebody from death? No. Death is inevitable and the controller is ultimately the Supreme Lord. So, and such a person being overly affectionate to his family, he quits his life like cats and dogs without understanding self-realization. What Prabhupada is saying in the pulpit. So this is the definition of a kripana, or whatever his activities, that he's suffering from the skin disease. And he's overly, attached to his own material body or the bodies of his own family members. So then Prabhupada is giving the definition of, Prabhupada gives a very nice compare and contrast. If you see in his purports, he'll give nice comparing, contrasting also. He'll give a lot of analogies also to make that subject matter more understandable to the common man. So he's giving the definition of a Brahmana also. So Brahmana is what? Kripana is what? Who is not intelligent. But Brahmana is what? Who is intelligent, and he utilizes this human body to solve the problems of life. So, so that is why Krishna is actually setting this right mood of understanding the Bhagavad Gita. That okay, here is Arjuna, and here is a mundane scholar. So, what is the correct mood? Arjuna is stopping his friendship and is surrendering to Krishna, and Arjuna becomes the first disciple of Bhagavad Gita. And the incorrect mood is what? That you have these mundane scholars, they say that there is no need to submit to Krishna, but to the unborn within Krishna. And that is why these mundane scholars are called the greatest fool with respect to understanding the Bhagavad Gita. They will never understand. Why? Because they want to submit to the unborn within Krishna. They don't want to submit to Krishna as a person. They want to submit to somebody who is within Krishna. But we know that Krishna within and without are the same. Inside and outside both are the same. So that's where Prabhupada is saying that we should come out of that Kripana mentality and we should adopt the Brahmana mentality, that we utilize this human form of birth to solve the problems of life, that is birth, death, old age and disease. So let's go to the next. Okay. We should complete 10 shlokas at least, I'm expecting. Let's see what Krishna desires. Because when you are sitting and giving a class, we are not in control at all. The Supreme Lord is in control. So we might come prepared with big things over here, big classes and lectures. But whatever the Supreme Lord wants those words to come out from our mouth, then we are not the doers. The Supreme Lord is the doer. So, so the next shloka is Nahi prapashyami mama nudyad
Nahi prapashyami nudyad
yachokham uccoshanam indriyanam avapya ubhav sapatna muddha It is asapatnam ruddham. Okay, so you have a dot under R, it's a ru. Okay. Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam.
Rajam Suranam
Thank you so much. You can mute yourselves. Translation: I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unraveled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in the heaven. Again, he's presenting his valuable arguments to not fight. And so he's saying that he's basically over here, he's reconfirming his dependence and faith on Krishna. He's saying that, Krishna, you are the only one who will be driving away my grief. No other person can help you. No other Shastra or a person can help me. And even if I am actually victorious, I cannot dispel this lamentation. So Arjuna is proclaiming that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth or supremacy like the demigods cannot help him. Even if I reach to the position of a demigod, or even if I get the heavenly kingdom, still I will be, in grief only. I will not be very happy at all. So this is what. When we say that, okay, when can one surrender to the spiritual master? He can surrender to the the spiritual master when he realizes two things: that he cannot independently solve his material perplexities, and then he realizes that when I take full shelter of Krishna, this is the only way to elevate my pain and despondency. That's the time you take full shelter of Krishna. Full shelter of Krishna means only that you actually give yourself to Krishna. You give yourself and whatever you have, everything to Krishna. So that is called full surrender, full taking shelter of Krishna. So over here, Prabhupada in his purport, he's saying that whatever, scholarship a person has, whatever academic knowledge a person has, maybe he must be a PhD also or a doctorate also, all these positions are useless if that living entity does not use that in solving the perplexities or problems of life. Like in this case, we are seeing that Arjuna is having very limited knowledge based on some religious principles and some moral codes, and that has failed to help him. Nothing has, helped him so far. So only Krishna or his representatives as the spiritual master can help him. So who is a bona fide spiritual master then? Prabhupada is giving the definition of a bona fide spiritual master in the purport. He's saying that a bona fide spiritual master is one who is 100% Krishna consciousness and who can solve the problems of life. That is a bona fide, spiritual master. And then Prabhupada is giving his supporting references where he's saying Kiba Vipra Kiba. So he's saying that one who is the master of science, of Krishna consciousness, is a real spiritual master, and one who is that person who is not decided by birth or any social order, that particular person is a spiritual master. And even in the Padma Purana, he's saying that only a Vaishnava can become a bona fide spiritual master, because only a Vaishnava knows what is the aim of life and how can I actually come out from these problems of life. So Prabhupada is, comparing this temporary nature of economic development and the worldly supremacies. So economic development, that is there. How much of economic development we may do, but that is not going to solve the problems of material existence. Like people previously used to, travel by, horses, carts and everything. Then these four-wheelers came. Previously, two-wheelers also came, a bicycle also came. Then four-wheelers also came up. But with four-wheelers, then came some other complexities also. That, okay, you need to have a petrol, and if you don't have a petrol, then, you need to have air into the tires, or you need to have, many other parts of the car functioning properly. Or man kept on inventing, but there were other problems. Like, for example, it is too hot here, okay, then I have an AC. But with AC, then comes the byproducts of having severe cancers also, and the global warming also came up. So man is trying to solve one problem, but with that one problem, another problem crops up. So this economic development cannot solve only the problems of this material existence. So there are many opulent countries which have failed to get even peace, and they cannot solve the problems of birth, death, old age and diseases. So with Arjuna's example, we see that he's proclaiming that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth or the supremacy like the demigods cannot help him. And also any economic development, can be finished at any time. One earthquake and everything will be finished. Recently, we saw in Pakistan, there were so many landslides that were there. And within 1 minute, that whole buildings were collapsing. If you go and see on YouTube, you'll see how, that's a 2-minute video and it kept on collapsing immediately. Shenya Punya Martya Lokam, Prabhupada says. So only way to real happiness is like when we read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can consult Krishna through his representatives, the spiritual master. So Prabhupada very firmly saying that the only way to happiness is Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Now, to have that faith in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, how will you develop the faith in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam? By reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, you will have faith in that. Like, for example, we say that there is no difference between Krishna's words and Krishna. And there is no difference between Bhagavatam and Sri Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is the Grantha Avatar or the book incarnation of the Supreme Lord. But how will I have faith? So, like for example, that I keep meeting a particular friend of mine on a daily basis and I keep interacting with her on a daily basis. What will happen eventually? By speaking to her and knowing her ideas and views and her thinking, I will start developing faith in her. Because what I'm doing, I'm investing my time on a daily basis with that particular friend of mine. So eventually what happens is I have my intense faith in that friend. Okay. So you're associating, you're giving time, you're investing in that particular relationship. Similarly, when we are reading the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm investing my time in my relationship with the Supreme Lord. And that's how I will have faith in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. On a daily basis, if I'm investing faith or my time, or you can say, in this particular relationship, don't we invest so much time in different relationships? Then what are we doing? We're investing time in this relationship also with the Bhagavad Gita, with the Supreme Lord. And then you'll start having faith. The more faith you will have, the more you will see, okay, this is only the real thing in life. This is only real happiness. I am getting happiness only by reading Bhagavad Gita. I am getting happiness only by reading Bhagavatam. And then you will be happy. And then you will be clear also. You will have a lot of clarity in your life also. And you will be sound also in taking your decisions. So you will not be confused what to do, what not to do. So that is why reading Shastras is so very important that Prabhupada is actually giving us. So let's go to the next shloka. I hope we can complete 10 shlokas at least by today. I'm not rushing though. Whatever is important. Okay, now Sanjay speaks. Sanjay Uvacha.
Sanjay Uvacha.
Evam Muktva Rishikesham.
Evam
Rishikesham.
Gudakesha Parantapa.
Gudakesha
Nayotsya iti Govindam.
Nayosyate Govindam
Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha.
Uktva
This is Tushnim, okay? Babhuvaha. Okay, you have to mute yourselves. Sanjay said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastisers of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight. And he fell silent. So, Dhritarashtra must be very happy now. Okay, Arjuna is not fighting, no war. They are, withdrawing themselves back. But Arjuna, though over here he's, refusing to fight, Arjuna is, Sanjay reporting to Dhritarashtra that Arjuna is, very honestly expressing his mind to Krishna that I will not fight. So, in this 2.9, he's saying that Prabhupada, is giving in this purpose also, and Arjuna is actually directly indicating that the only way to curb, lamentation for good is that we need to take shelter of Krishna. Yesterday in the Bhagavad Gita class, Hindi, everybody is asking, I'm in Krishna consciousness, still I'm very unhappy. Why am I unhappy? So to be happy, you need to associate with that person who has that thing, right? So for example, you will tell me, Mataji, please give me one BMW car. I'll say, I don't have a BMW car. I just have a normal, car. I don't have a BMW car. How am I supposed to give you? So what I'll have, I'll give you. What I don't have, I cannot give you, right? Similarly, if you go and ask your family members, please give me happiness, will they be able to give you happiness? No, they won't be able to give you happiness because they themselves don't have happiness. Then who is that person who has happiness? That person is Sri Krishna, who has happiness in 100%. That person is Guru, who has happiness, and that's why I need to take shelter of those people who have happiness and who can give happiness. And when they give happiness, it's not like that they become bankrupt of happiness. They have happiness again in 100% only. It's exactly like, I have a pot full of happiness, and then I go and you go to Krishna and you say, Krishna, give me happiness. Okay, Krishna gives that whole pot of happiness. He gives that 100% happiness to you. Now, okay, Krishna's pot of happiness is empty. No, that pot automatically gets filled up with happiness again 100%. So this is the way of Krishna consciousness, to approach Krishna, because he is the only person who has happiness and he can award you happiness. No other person can give you happiness. Neither any of your family members, friends, office colleagues, nobody. People find, false happiness in wrong sockets. They plug in their sockets into wrong, their plugs into wrong sockets, thinking that, okay, I'll get happiness over here, I'll get happiness over here, I'll get happiness over here. But those sockets are not working only. Those sockets are defective. Those sockets are full of 4 defects. And that is why those sockets cannot give you happiness at all. So, in this particular purport, there is a word called, there's a word used as parantapa, chastiser of enemy. So Sanjay over here, disappoints Dhritarashtra by saying, by declaring that Arjuna has, withdrawn for fighting, and Sanjay is saying that, see, Arjuna is very much competent enough to kill the enemies, but temporarily, Arjuna is overwhelmed, and he has surrendered to Krishna now. Though he has said that he is not going to fight, but soon he will fight. So there are 3 effects of surrender which have manifested in Arjuna. What are those 3 effects of surrender? And even if we living entities also, when we surrender, there will be 3 effects. When you surrender to Krishna completely, you will be enlightened. When you surrender to Krishna completely, we have freedom from false lamentation. And when we surrender to Krishna completely, the third is that we will be reinstated in our own duties. That yes, my duty is to worship the Supreme Lord. My duty is to please the Supreme Lord. My aim of life is only to please Guru and Krishna. What Jyoti Mataji told, that the aim of or the purpose of life is to please Guru and Krishna. And then definitely, that surrender will bring a lot of positivity into the life of a particular person. So when I'm surrendering, then I'm surrendering everything to the Supreme Lord. I'm surrendering my ego, I'm surrendering my anger, I'm surrendering my envy, I'm surrendering everything to the Supreme Lord. So these are the 3 effects of surrender, that you immediately get enlightened. And freedom from false lamentation, where even the Bhagavatam is saying that Yasya Vaishunamayanam Krishna Param Purushe Bhakti Rupadate Pumsa Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Just give me 1 minute, I'll just quickly remove that shloka to you all. I want to read this because the purport is very nice of this shloka. Yeah. Everybody is able to see this? Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feelings of loving devotional service to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. So, when you're just hearing the Bhagavad Gita, or you're reading the Bhagavad Gita, or you're explaining to somebody that Bhagavad Gita, so three effects, are there. You will never have any lamentation. You will never be in an illusion because you'll be completely clear. You'll have a lot of clarity. And you will not have bhai at all. You will not have fear at all. Why? Because Krishna is my ultimate protector. I don't need to fear anything in this life. So, if you see, there are various senses of which ear is the most effective. This sense works even when a man is asleep. One can protect himself from the hands of an enemy while awake. But while asleep, one is protected by the ear only. The importance of hearing is mentioned here in this connection with attaining the highest perfection of life, namely getting free from the three material pangs. Hai na? What are the three material pangs? Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Adhyatmik. Everyone is full of lamentation at every moment. He is after the mirage of illusionary things. See, because he is after the mirage of illusionary things, then he is lamenting. Illusionary things मतलब क्या? मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे वो चाहिए, और वो नहीं मिलता है, तो फिर आप क्या करते हो? शोक मनाते हो. I am lamenting. Oh, I didn't get a BMW car, and he is afraid of his supposed enemy also. So my neighbor has 2 cars. I should have 4 cars. So he's envying. These are the primary symptoms of material disease. And it is definitely suggested herein that simply by hearing the message of Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, one gets attachment. What you will get by hearing? You will get attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as soon as this is affected, the symptoms of material disease will disappear. So when I attach myself to the Supreme Lord, what will happen? I will get detached from all that material diseases that will be there in my life. And then what is happening? Vyasdev saw the all-perfect personality, and in this statement, the all-perfect personality of God, Shri Krishna, is clearly confirmed. And what is the ultimate result of devotional service? The ultimate result of devotional service is to develop genuine love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, over here, Prabhupada is using such wonderful words which Srila Prabhupada uses. I feel like glorifying, I wish I had 1,000 mouths to glorify Prabhupada for giving us such wonderful purports. He's saying genuine love, no fake love. What love Krishna is demanding, or what love we should have for Krishna? We should have a genuine love. And we should have, love is a word which is often used in relation with a man and woman. And love is the only word that can be properly used to indicate the relationship between Krishna and the living entities. See, over here you have lust. But in the spiritual world, all the Brajavasis, they have very genuine love for Krishna. They are genuinely concerned for Krishna's welfare. They are genuinely concerned about Krishna's, emotions, health, or his well-being. So the living entities are mentioned as Prakriti in the Bhagavad Gita, and in Sanskrit, Prakriti is feminine object. The Lord is always described as Parama Purusha, or the supreme male personality. Thus, the affection between the Lord and the living entity is something like between the male and the female. So over here, we all are Prakriti, female, and then female is supposed to love the male. So what we are doing? We are loving loving the Supreme Lord Krishna. And therefore, the term love of Godhead is quite appropriate. So we want to love the Supreme Lord. And in return, the Supreme Lord also will love. He'll reciprocate. Loving devotional service to the Lord begins with hearing about the Lord. There is no difference between the Lord and the subject matter heard about him. The Lord is absolute in all respects, and thus there is no difference between him and the subject matter heard about him. Therefore, hearing about him means immediate contact with him by the process of vibration of the transcendental sound. So anybody who's reading the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, immediately he is in contact with the Supreme Lord. And the transcendental sound is so effective that it acts at once by removing all material affections mentioned above. Shoka, Moha, Bhaya. Okay. And as mentioned before, a living entity develops a sort of complexity by material association. And the illusionary engagement of the material body is accepted as a factual fact. Under such false complexity, the living beings under the different categories of life become illusioned. Different categories means what? Somebody is in a dog's body, somebody is in a fish's body, or somebody is in a tree body. Even in the most developed stage of human life, the same illusion prevails in the form of many isms, communism, nationalism, and divides the loving relation with the Lord, and thereby divides the loving relation between man and man. By hearing the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, this false complexity of materialism is removed, and a real peace is society begins, which politicians aspire for so eagerly in so many political situations. So I won't go over this. Okay. And then what is this? Because of too much attachment for material domination, then there is fearfulness and illusion. And therefore, there is no peace for these politicians. So, until we reach the stage of re-establishing our lost relation with Krishna, the illusion of accepting the body as the self will prevail, and thus fearfulness will also prevail. So, there will always be fearlessness till the time we are not, worshipping the Supreme Lord. And so, then that is why, in the last saying, the conclusion is that simply by hearing the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, one can have direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, and thereby one can attain the highest perfection of life by transcending worldly miseries, illusion, and fearfulness. These are practical tests for one who has actually given a submissive hearing to the readings of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Very wonderful purport. This is one of my favorite shlokas in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Can you go back in the
Yes,
purport
yes.
that just want to see once again? So I will also like to read it once get time.
Yeah, 1.7.7, Prabhu. This is
Okay.
1.7.7.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Mataji.
So, for example, even in my readings, if I come across some wonderful purports like this, I will put it in the WhatsApp group immediately. So maybe whenever you all have, your convenient time, you all can read it. And these purports, how many? Just 2-3 minutes it will take for you all to read. But these purports are such jewel and gem like purports of Prabhupada that increase your faith in the Supreme Lord, that increases your love for the Supreme Lord, and then you will feel like becoming selfless. You will feel like establishing selfless relationship with the Supreme Lord. No, Krishna, I don't want anything from you. I want to only give you. I want to only serve you. And I want to only please you. So, from giving point of view, you will have that attitude. Initially what happens now, you want to take. But, if you see the mother, that is the only relationship on this material world. You'll see the mother is in the mode of giving only the child. Like I see my mother also today. She's only in the mode of giving me. She's not expecting one penny from me. She's just expecting that, okay, I want to give my daughter. I want to give my daughter. So that is one relation of the mother. You can see that selfless love that has been exhibited by the mother or the parent towards the child. And that only selfless love, the Supreme Lord equally wants to give us. It's not like that only we want to give, but even Supreme Lord wants to give us. And that is why he will give you facilities upon facilities. That yes, come more closer to me. He's giving you the association of the Vaishnavas. He's giving you the association of the spiritual master through his Vani. He's giving you his personal association in the form of the book incarnation, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam. He is all the time supplying you And he's thinking, okay, now he will come to me, now he will come. But we as living entities, we only are so much conditioned that we are so rebellious that we don't want to give. We are not in the mode of giving at all. We are in the mode of taking only. So when we'll develop this, things will be more easy for us. Let's go to the next. This is the last shloka and I just conclude with this. So, we'll have sorry. Where is that slide gone?
There only third tab.
Yeah, just sometimes Krishna puts you also in illusion, na? बड़े बड़े धुरंधरों को भी illusion में डाल देते हैं. Krishna has to put me also in illusion. Yeah. Sanjay Uvacha. Ajay, finish. Then, again an illusion. So, Kam Uvacha Rishikesh.
Uvaच Rishikesha
Sahasanyeva Bharat.
Sahasanyeva Bharata
Senayorubayormadhe.
Senayorubayorubayorumadhye
Dantam vacha.
Vishidantam vacha.
The co-descendant of Bharata, at that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to grief-stricken Arjuna. So Krishna now is actually, speaking to Arjuna. You can mute yourselves. Sanjay is reporting actually over here that Krishna is smiling and both the armies are there. So Krishna is accepting a role as per the devotee's desire. Okay, now Arjuna has kindly, accepted me as a, guru. Okay, I'll become a guru. If he wants me as a friend, I'll be as a friend. If he wants me as a lover, I'm accepting, as a lover also. So, though Krishna is switching roles, but he always maintains his supremacy. So, Krishna was smiling because this friend has chosen to become a disciple now. Okay. So, when you have two friends and somebody is very much grief-stricken, and he's saying, please advise me, kya karu main? And the friend has a solution to your grief. Then he will smile. अच्छा, तो मेरे पास सलाह लेने के लिए आया. ठीक है, मैं देता हूँ तुझे. Like that. You want some, words of wisdom? Okay, I'm ready to give you. So then, the friend smiles and starts giving his words of wisdom. So now if you see, this Bhagavad Gita is, discussed between two big armies. There is this, this knowledge is for not one particular person of Arjuna. This particular knowledge is for everybody, the whole society, community, and for every living entity it is. So, friends and enemies are there, and whether somebody is a friend, whether somebody is an enemy, this Bhagavad Gita is for everybody. So Krishna did not do any pakshapat. He was not partial. Oh, because on opposite side are the Kauravas and they are the enemies of what do you say? They are the enemies of the Pandavas. No, I will just say the Bhagavad Gita in Arjuna's ear only because he is my friend. No. That is why in between of the battlefield that the chariot was bought, so that this party can also hear that message and that party can also hear the message. And if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, both parties heard the Bhagavad Gita. Kauravas also heard and Pandavas also heard. And over there, Dhritarashtra is also hearing the live commentary. Sanjay is the commentator over there and Dhritarashtra is also hearing. But how many hearts changed? Dhritarashtra's heart did not change. Why? Because his intentions were only wrong. His intentions were not to, please the Supreme Lord. His intentions were to harm the Pandavas. And that is why even good instructions given, when the person gives some good instructions, but if we have closed our doors to accept those good instructions, Those good instructions will also not penetrate into the heart and bring a revival in the hearts of people. So there are many people who are hearing the Bhagavad Gita, but how many of them have changed their lives hearing the Bhagavad Gita? That is the, point to be discussed, or point to be thought about or pondered about, that both the parties are hearing. Sanjay also is here. Sanjay is also giving it to Dhritarashtra. And in our lives also we have to see. So when we are actually reading the Bhagavad Gita, how much is the application part that I am doing from the Bhagavad Gita? That needs to be actually thought over. And practical application in our lives, what am I, drawing it for my sake? Because see, one shloka, if you see, has many, many meanings. From many, many angles, one shloka can be taken. But from what angle am I taking, the Bhagavad Gita? Or what angle am I taking the Bhagavad Gita? Is it to revive my consciousness? Is it to bring some improvement in my Krishna consciousness? From that point of view, I am taking the Bhagavad Gita. So if you take it in that way, then we'll be happy. Otherwise, we'll be in lamentation, material anxiety, fearfulness only all our lives. So I rest my speech over here. You all have any doubts, questions, queries, you all are free to ask.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can you please repeat again the 3 effects of surrender?
Yeah, enlightenment. The first effect is enlightenment. Second effect is freedom from false lamentation. And to be reinstated in our own duty towards the Supreme Lord, that is to serve the Supreme Lord.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, like we were discussing, that what one should do is perform one's duty without thinking of the result.
No, I didn't say that. Did I say that? Without thinking of the result?
Mataji, as in one should selflessly do the duty and then not think of the result, that without having an attachment to the result. So then I was just thinking that, even in our case, if we see, so we go to the college, or we go for a profession, or even someone who's working. So when they work, they would obviously expect their monthly salary, or we would expect good marks. So how is it that, at least at this stage, how is it that we work without any motivation? That because when one has a goal set, one is inspired or motivated to work more and more. Even when we read scriptures, so we are motivated to read more, because we know that, through enlightenment, would we want to serve more, we'll get more love for Krishna. But then how is it that without motivation can one work?
Yeah, I understood your question. So, in the third chapter, we'll be elaborately, studying about karma and, how the karma binds us. But when we are actually, so for example, somebody is working or somebody is studying. So if you do it as an offering to Krishna, then that work will not bind us. When you do everything as an offering to Krishna, that work will not bind you. Okay. And for example, somebody is earning some money, okay, and he's offering that fruit to the Supreme Lord. Say, for example, I am earning 5,000 a month, okay, and I'm offering 500, as a donation, to Krishna or in the temple, or I'm spending it for some preaching purposes. So it is an offering. I'm not utilizing, that completely in full. I'm giving some part back to, Krishna only as an offering. So then that will not bind us. That will keep us liberated, that will keep us, what do you say? That will not bind us into any, attachment to that particular work. We know that I'm working for Krishna, and then I have to offer these fruits to Krishna. So I'm a servant of Krishna, I'm working for Krishna, and I'm offering it to Krishna. So that work will not bind us. That work will keep us away from that binded situation that is there.
Mataji, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
In regard to this, so then, for example, if I am working for Krishna, but then I am failing over and over again, I'm failing. So how do I take that?
When you work for Krishna, you will never fail. Materially, it may seem that you are failing, but spiritually, you don't fail. Spiritually, you progress.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Yeah, spiritually, you progress. Materially, you might fail, but spiritually, you are progressing. Yeah. Any more questions?
Mataji, I had one more question. Mataji, we were discussing somewhere in the middle that Arjun, he was selfless, right? Was he selfless, or did you mention selfless, or did you mention selfish?
No, initially he was selfish, no, because he was thinking only about himself. He was not thinking about the others. He was thinking, because I will get, this defame me, because they are my relatives, because, they are my superiors. So he was thinking about me only. So he was selfish initially.
Okay. Mataji, one more question that I had was...
Give some others also chance to ask questions.
Sorry, Mataji, sorry.
Lined up questions you're asking. Let others also give a chance to ask. Anybody else has any questions or doubts or queries regarding this? What, with these 10 questions, 10 shlokas that we discussed? Okay, Saiba, you can, because nobody has any question.
Mataji, I just
Mataji,
have a small question.
Kalyani,
That-
okay, yeah.
Yeah, Mataji, that you said that 5 arguments are there that Arjun put forward before Krishna, that of not fighting. So 4 are there in the first chapter, and this 5th one is in the second chapter. So can you just tell me the specific reason? I did not get it from the shloka. That what was the 5th argument of not fighting?
He was indecisive. Indecision was the 5th argument.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Rup Manohar Prabhu, you had some question. Rup Manohar Prabhu, you had some question.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, you mentioned that Bhagavan, who is preserving the 6 Aishwarya, right? 6 qualities.
Yes.
So, so can you please? I missed a few. I think.
6 opulences. Okay. Full beauty, full fame, full wealth, full strength, full renunciation, and full knowledge. These are the 6 opulences of Krishna, which is there in 100%. So even if he's giving his wealth, it's not like that his, he's become a beggar. No, it will remain with him in 100% only. Even if he's given all the knowledge of the Vedas to Brahmaji, it's not like that now Krishna is, without any knowledge. No, Krishna still has that knowledge intact with him only. Like, for example, if today I am giving you 5,000 rupees, which means what? I'm deficit of 5,000 rupees in my bank, right? So I don't have 5,000. It's not like that, okay, I give 5,000 to Rup Manohar Prabhu and automatically in my bank 5,000 rupees, they just get deposited from nowhere, right? So it's not like that. Like in the spiritual world, you give something, automatically it gets filled. So Krishna, when he gives somebody, then it's not like that Krishna has become empty over there. Or when I told you about the, example of the happiness also. Like, okay, Krishna has 100% happiness, a pot full of, just a crude example I'm giving you. And he gives you all that happiness he has. And now Krishna is unhappy because his happiness, he's given it to you. So it's not like that. उनका happiness का घड़ा भरा रहेगा फिर भी. ठीक है ना?
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions anybody has? Okay, so if you all have no questions, then we wind up for the day. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.